Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the third week. So we're going to be working um, on acids and bases, chapter 16. Hopefully you're getting started on that already. Second exam is graded, so you can check your scores for the second exam. And chapter 16 is really your first serious look at acids and bases. In the first semester of general chemistry, we usually talk about acids, bases um, early in the course, but not with a whole lot of detail. So this is where we're going to get a lot of detail. And what you're going to find is that our theory of acids and bases is connected to chemical equilibrium. So we had this idea of the equilibrium constant, the concentrations of the products divided by the concentrations of the reactants, or for the cases of gases, the pressures of the products over the pressures of the gases. Here we're looking at aqueous solutions. So these are going to be reactions that are occurring in water, and they're going to involve ions. So the hydrogen ion or the hydronium ion, the hydroxide ion, and you're also going to see quite a bit of equilibrium constants. So it's connected very directly to chemical equilibrium. So if you take a look at the agenda for the chapter, there's quite a few topics. There's 12 of them listed here. Some of them are very brief topics. They're just little introductions. Others are a little bit more involved. So presumably in the first semester of Gen Chem, you learned a little bit about Bronsted acids and bases. So in a sense, this may be a review if you had good instruction in that. Um, the thing about this chapter is it does have some sample problems in there, some example problems with the answers if you want to give yourself a little bit of practice going through this before you do the ALEKS problems. Some of them are very similar to the ALEKS problems, but they're, a good intro into the practice. So you'll look at things like the equilibrium constant for water, which is called the autoionization reaction. It's where water actually reacts with itself, and there's an equilibrium constant associated with that. So you'll look at that. You'll do some calculations on that, and then you get to the pH scale. So those of you that are biology majors, you're aware of the pH scale. You look at the pH scale quite a bit in biology. Here we're going to be more quantitative about it. We're going to do calculations to figure out the pH, and we're going to do it for different types of solutions. So there's some info here and some calculations on pH, logs and anti-logs. Okay. Another scale, which you may or may not have heard of, is called the pOH scale. It's very similar to the pH scale, but it involves the hydroxide ion. So you same thing, you do some calculations with that, and then you connect the two together. The pH and the pOH are related to each other. Okay. Then you'll look at some specific examples of calculating pH. So the first one are the strong acids and the strong bases, which are the easiest solutions to calculate the pH for. Okay, so you look at strong acids, and then you'll go through and do strong bases as well. And then you get into now we start really doing equilibrium. So these are the weak acid calculations that you'll have to do. Weak acids are typically organic acids, the acids that are found in nature. And so you'll do some calculations with those. Again, those introduce what's called the acid ionization constant, or the acid dissociation constant. That is also an equilibrium constant. So we'll be doing a lot of equilibrium here. Same thing, once you get done with the weak acids, you'll move into the weak bases. Same thing, there are ionization constants for weak bases that you'll use in your calculations. And once you've got that done, once you got all those four, strong acid, strong base, weak base, then you start looking at combinations of the two and salts. So you'll do some of those calculations as well. And then it starts changing up a little bit. You'll do what are called Lewis acids and Lewis bases. So in Chem 11, you learned about Lewis structures. This is an extension of Lewis structures where you're doing the octet rule, that sort of thing. So you'll do a little bit of Lewis structures and connect them to acids and bases. Okay. So good luck with this week's homework and this week's exam. For the most part, people did very well on the second exam. The one problem I noticed people had difficulty with was the pictorial problem, where they actually showed you the molecules, the number of molecules at equilibrium, and then you had to calculate the equilibrium constant from that. So some people had, quite a few people actually had difficulty with that one, but the calculation problems people did very, very well. So most of you are doing very well in the course so far. So just keep it up. Again, as a reminder, stay ahead of the game. Try to get these things done days in advance. Some of you have already taken exam 3 and exam 4. That's great. You really want to stay ahead because again, things happen, emergencies occur, internet signal goes out at home, Wi-Fi goes out, cable goes out, emergencies at home. So stay ahead of the game. And maybe you'll finish the course early. If you finish the course early, you finish the course early. Okay. So good luck and take care.